All right, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by Coach Mark Shields down in Bar Harbor for our weekly coaches show. And Coach, happy Halloween. Um, at least we're not playing tonight. I mean, God, remember those years that we ruined Halloween and had to play on Halloween? But we are, to quote Willie Nelson, on the road again, heading down to Naples, Maine to play Lake Region tomorrow. Playoff edition of the Coaches Show.
Right. I got up this morning and getting ready to go to work, and my wife says, Mark, you need to get candy ready for tonight. It's Halloween. I'm like, what? There's just no time for it, Chris. Right?
Did
I
you
mean, we're
tell
trying to
her
win.
that you are busy trying to get the Trojans ready and that she has infected you? She has made you go on wedding trips all football season long, and the least she can do is to go buy the candy and do her part to help the team.
Yeah, she's done everything she could to sabotage this season for us, Chris. But
Pretty
we're not
much.
going to let her do it.
No,
Okay.
no. Holly, no, no,
Yeah.
Holly. All right. You're the
Yeah.
one that has
So
to
the
deal
good
with
news
her,
is I
not
live
me.
in a neighborhood that we don't really get many people. It's in the woods, so all we need to do apparently is put lights around, some candy down by the road, and kids will come and grab it, and so be it. And my kids are grown up now, so I don't need to do that anymore. But I have been told, or I've heard from Todd Simcox on WABI that Chris Popper, his house is the place to go because it's full size candy bars.
There are full-size candy bars. I have purchased about 150 to 180 large candy bars. Um, and although my diabetes glucose monitor in my arm last night went off for low blood sugar, um, and I was forced to go down and have a Reese's candy bar at 11:30 last night, just so I could be here today.
Yeah, for your health, right?
But pretty much, pretty
You're forced
much.
to.
I would, yeah. Could have had, my wife said you could have had a banana, could have had orange juice. And I was like, you weren't, she wasn't here. I had to make a quick life saving decision. And I went right to the Reese's. All right, let's talk a little bit about last week, a great win down in Waterville for the Trojans.
Yeah, so a nice win, a much needed win, headed into the playoffs. And we knew Waterville was going to be a tough opponent, very well coached, a lot of tradition, and their kids are going to play hard. So it was a good game for us to have to finish out the season. And fortunately, we played well. We're a little healthier, still knocking on wood here. And we were still missing a couple of guys, but I know Waterville, they were missing kids too. And
Yeah.
went down there, and I thought the kids played well overall. Of course, we had to give up kickoff return, Chris, because that's what
Well,
MDI does.
and I do want to let you know that the stands were they're very close to the field, and Coach Shields was a little he was a little upset. He used some language that I may have used in discussing question four, and yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's good when the stands are away from the field.
Yeah, I kind
But
of forgot that. That
you were a little how could we say you were asking someone to step up and tackle nicely.
Yeah. So after the game, my parents, who live 30 minutes away from Waterville High School, attended the game, and my
Did
mother,
mom
mom,
wanna
yeah,
wash your mouth out with soap or
yeah.
what?
Mom said, "Mark, you seem like you're a little upset there on the sideline." And I said, "Yeah, I know, Mom. I was upset, and I used some inappropriate language, and I do feel bad for that. I need to be better." Um, but yeah, I remember being very upset because that seems to be a pet peeve of mine of giving up kickoff returns. And after I
Why?
lost my mind, then I look and I'm like, boy, those stands are awful close to us right now, aren't they? And there are my parents watching crazy Coach Shields on the sideline using inappropriate language. So it was a great moment, one of my better moments for sure.
Uh, who did you give the game ball to?
So we gave a game ball to Kenneth Stillwell, who
Very
was
well
the player
deserved.
of the game
Yeah.
down there on. If you watch the Waterville broadcast, but nobody needs to watch that because we have WDEA. They gave him player of the game, and then Cal Hodgson, our quarterback, and played great on defense.
Yeah.
And I was really most pleased with Cal with his leadership at halftime because Coach Shields apparently was still upset at halftime and was not in a great place. And then Cal sort of led the charge coming out of halftime and got the troops motivated. And when we had, you know, sorry, a really good second half to get the win. So.
All right. So besides kickoff coverage, what have you worked on this week to get ready for the Lake Region Lakers?
Yeah, so they're a handful, right? They're 5-3. Um, they're a team that is loaded with seniors. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They really have figured it out down there this year. They had a couple of tough years coming into this season, and I think with that senior leadership, they've really been playing well right from week one till through week eight, and so I mean they have a lot of athletes on that team, starting with their quarterback, number 22. He's a left-handed kid, senior. He's a kid that can throw the ball and run the ball, so he's hard to contain. And then they have some nice running backs and receivers that they can get the ball to. So, defensively, it's kind of pick your poison. Me being the defensive coordinator, we're trying to come up with a scheme to, you're not going to stop them completely for sure, but try to contain those athletes the best that we can, and we'll see how we do with that. And then offensively, continue to sustain drives to keep their offense off of the field. Sometimes your best defense is your offense if you can keep your offense on the field and keep theirs off. So Mark Arnold's done a nice job with that this week, and then of course we're working on special teams. Can't give up a kickoff. We just can't in a playoff game against a high-powered team like Lake Region. So we've worked hard at that as well, and hopefully it plays out for us Friday night.
A trip down to Lake Region proves difficult. It's a 2.5 hour trip. You've got a bus ride on a couple yellow buses. So everybody has bus legs, and then everybody's hungry. I mean, they're going to feed the team after the game, which is very nice of athletic director True down there, and their group. But that just proves a whole challenge to uh, travel that long, not have supper, and be ready to play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's actually a 3.5 hour ride
Oh, from
uh,
the island, right?
from
Because
the
it's two and a
island.
half
Yep,
hour from Bangor.
yep. So yeah, I mean, we have to make sure that we get off the bus, right? I mean, we need to get off the bus and be mentally ready to go, and obviously our warm up's going to be really important to get our legs fresh and ready to go. And yeah, I mean, this is the third straight year we've gone down to Lake Region. So in that regard, it's not something new to us. We know it's a long ride. We're going to leave the high school around 1 o'clock, and that should get us down there probably 4:30, 4:45 with a stop along the way, which gives us plenty of time. Kickoffs at 7, so that would give us a couple hours before kickoff to get off the bus mentally and physically. So yeah, that's a great point. It's going to be a long ride and a late night.
Yeah, a late night certainly coming back, going home, and be lucky if you're home back before 1 o'clock in the morning. And hopefully the boys aren't planning on going out hunting on Saturday morning for. I'm supposed to broadcast from the Trenton uh, Fire Department's breakfast, and we'll see if it all depends what time I get home on Friday night, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you want to say? I mean, even if MDI wins, it looks like we're done playing at home and we'd be on the playoff on the road. But it'd be great to have a lot, fans coming down to support, make that long trip. I mean, I know you're going to have the cheerleaders going down, I believe. So that's a welcome addition. But just to have those fans in the stands really makes a difference.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I know it's a long ride. I get that. We've traveled pretty well the last few years, and
Yeah.
last year, for the gold ball run, we were on the road every playoff game, and we had a nice crowd supporting us each game. And so, yeah, if you can make it down, I know it is a long ride. I get that. It's a late night. Maybe you can spend the night in Portland, make a weekend of it. That might help. But yeah, any support we can get would be wonderful.
All right, coach. Hopefully injuries are better. We won't really talk about that now because you're the only one that does the coaches show. We don't want to give everybody too much of an insight, but yeah, we look forward to seeing you down there on Friday night and go Trojans.
Thanks, Chris.